Hello and welcome to another installment of Comparative Reasoning. We're your hosts, Sedrik and Sidra. And I guess we'll talk about elitism. We just got finished listening to, well, actually it's been a while, a long wait because daughter wanted to go to sleep early, allegedly. So um he was talking about Boebert and then the Democrats raining down on her saying, she's only got a GED, uh, and how that's elitist, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it's elitist is because, like, well, she shouldn't be where she is, or why would you listen to her? She's not college educated. There's a difference between elitism and standards. When you have standards, that's when you say, look, at minimum, it must be this. Standards can also be confused with policy. Your standards is the most minimum, and sometimes you can put on a maximum. A policy is generally what's upheld to maintain. That's the difference. So while you can have a minimum of a GED, or at best, let's say a bachelor's, your policy is to be highly attentive, empathetic, and caring. That's the difference. Elitism is all over the place, and people don't think about it, but they're doing it. When you have people that say, I will only take you serious if you have so many views or subscribers. I will only take you serious if you speak in a way that if you only speak in a way that will resonate with me. If I don't like your tone, then I won't listen to you. If you're not this complexion, then what good are you? If you are not in this status of financial advantageousness, then you are not meaningful or as meaningful. For example, some people, elitism does not mean that, oh, I hold myself above everybody. No, it's how even the wretched, the poor, the downtrodden, they can be like that and tend to be that way usually. Even in favoritism, whereas someone who's wealthy can go to their restaurant and eat for free, but someone who is working, obviously, they gotta pay. That would be elitism. Well, they make a lot of money, they can eat for free. They might put a good word, and they got rich friends. Who are you? Pay up.
Elitism is rampant in Congress. This is demonstrating how rampant it is among the Democrats. But across the board, elitism is rampant in Congress because those who are in Congress want to put everyone to work or send everyone off to fight in the wars that they create. They want everyone to work. They don't want to pay them even a minimum of $15 per hour. They don't want to give them additional unemployment benefits because then they won't work. They don't want to give universal health care because then the wealthy insurance companies won't be able to make it. They are elitists. They care for the wealthy. They do not care for those who carry the country on their backs and pay for them to live their lifestyles. They don't care. And because the Democrats are so elitist, they couldn't figure out the best way to say, which what they were truly meaning to say is that Boebert is an idiot. She's stupid. Forget empathy and sympathy and care, care for your fellow human. She lacks critical thinking. She lacks the critical thinking. If they're going to teach critical race theory, then they need to be fired. Now, walk it back. If she had bothered to listen to the pledge that these teachers were talking about, then she would know that that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is they do not want to lie to their students. But she wants to continue to whitewash history and won't even consider that firing 5,000 teachers is completely ludicrous for education. What are you going to do then? Who's going to replace them? Teaching is not a valued enough profession to be able to replace 5,000 teachers at the drop of the hat, so you can continue to lie to yourself and the rest of the U.S. citizens about the state of this country now and for the past 400 years. She is stupid. She lacks critical thinking and empathy and care. But the elitist Democrats can only pinpoint the fact that she got a GED, thus, duh. And it's not going to fly. It's not going to fly among the working class, no matter what tribe they belong to.
When it comes to being elitist in Congress, just think about the Democrats going after her this way. Now, that's elitism, and the Republicans have done it as well. When the Democrats do it, they finally have done it, then what happens? It ain't the first time they've done it. It's not. It's just the first time that they're being severely called out on it. Because I'd seen this before, but I didn't care. When they talked about Boebert and stuff, I saw it on some kind of trawler or something that was going across as I was clicking through websites and stuff, trying to figure out what I can do. I was like, but then I didn't think about it in terms of elitism. I was just like, well, Republicans and Democrats both wailed on AOC because, she came from working at a bar. She worked at a bar. Why would you want to listen to her? And the Democrats and Republicans wailed on her, railed against her, wailed on her, hammered her for the clothes that she was wearing. Both did this. And to talk about someone's education, to call her out as dumb, I understand. But calling her dumb based on that, as Sidra was saying, it's not bright.
It isn't bright. Let's take Lindsey Graham. He's a Republican. He was in the military in his younger years. He was a lawyer. To be a lawyer, you have to go to school for it. But this is one of the dumbest clucks walking. Dumb as a stick. If he learned critical thinking skills when he was in school, he sold those to the highest bidder a long time ago to appeal to the donors and look dumb as hell. So what now?
I ask all of you, those that do see this, I know my views have dropped, but for those that view this, those that listen to this, it's the teachers are saying, I'm going to teach critical race theory. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to the students. What does it say when politicians and civilians are saying you should not teach this? They're saying you need to lie. What does it say when teachers in Tejas and in North Carolina are saying that they don't want to teach Black history? They want to wipe it out, and also say that they want the final grade to be 8. No higher than 8th grade education. It's as if these people think they're going to live forever and they need no one to replace them when they retire and or die. It's like they believe nothing ill will ever happen to them. So there's no need to further the educational system. There's no need to increase standards. There's no need to retain a good, positive policy, because nothing will change. All the while they're grooming what they can. So it's almost like, well, there's no need to have an education when you can come in here and just be groomed. You can be groomed and not care, make money, and that's it. Because educationally, if we're talking about education and learning from mistakes and trying to do what's right, It's almost like this Congress is a parallel. No, not a parallel. A mirror of actual society. Because they aren't thinking in terms of education. They're thinking in terms of profit and retaining power. Because an intelligent Congress would realize if you want to do it tribally, we here have a policy to take care of the people. We have to enact laws and situations that ensure a better quality of life for all, not some, if not few. We here have to maintain a policy of this, a standard of this. It doesn't matter how high or low your educational field is. It matters how much you care and how well you're going to do the right thing for the people, not your wallet, not your status, not your career, because the career politician is corrupt by definition. Keep that in mind. Because that's their career, that's their money, that's their bread and butter. And they can't mess up their bread and butter. So keeping you ill-informed, tribalizing the masses, protects them at all costs. Because you're so busy fussing at each other and being tribalistic and just knee-jerking every thought, every emotion, every reaction. You don't look and say, wait a minute, how do we live and why do we live that way? Because those that have no power have no say. And those that have the say have the power. And I can promise you, it ain't the one you're looking across the room, the street, the road, or whatnot at. It's those that you will see on TV, those that you'll hear about in the news, that you'll never get to meet. Those that when you go to a place that they are protected. They're not protected because they're important. They're protected because they know as soon as you smarten up, you will revolt. They are all afraid of a January 6th on a very, very individual but yet mass scale. The U.S. Congress have always feared this. And that's why they're so heavily protected. Because they know they can only go but so far before the people say, I can't take no more. We will speak amongst ourselves decently, properly, open our ears and realize who's at fault. The idea of a Republican and a Democrat, in the base core of it is, how much are you willing to sacrifice of the people to help the people? That's usually how that is. What are you willing to tax, steal, or take, or block, remove to help the mass as it is? Opposed to, look, we can't do but so much, so let's remove this but keep that. You have these things, and it's a balance. It's a check. That's the point of it. We don't have that. We don't. The lawmakers make laws that we have to abide by even if we don't even know what they are. And they base all of this on, right now, individual tribalism. And the elitist part of it, you're not as smart as we are because you didn't graduate from where we graduated from. And if you look into it, it's not that they graduated, but how and why they graduated. Did they get paid to graduate? Did they really score low, but they have to finagle things from mommy and daddy, the office of the school or the university? You know? Just saying. So much easier for people in these higher up Mount Olympus areas to send people to die than it is for them to look at each other and their family and say, let's sacrifice ourselves. Instead of what a standard or a policy would be as, don't send anyone to a war that you're not willing to go to yourself. This has been Sedrik Kennedy and Sidra Owens for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.